Hi, everybody. This is John from AU Pack Mule, and today is day 14 of our 30-day live stream challenge. And I have two guests on tonight. One of them is Jerry, the Targaryen Steamboat, and the other one is Lauren McCauley. She's been in the chat for a long time, so hopefully that you'll be able to get to know her a little bit better too. And we have 10 random book questions from a Game of Thrones or a Song of Ice and Fire. I hope you're able to keep up because Jerry has got some great information for us and wants to share. So we've been waiting for this for a long time. So I hope you like it. First of all, would you like to introduce yourself, Jerry, and say hi to everybody?
What's up, everyone in the chat and those watching later? This is Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat from the Heights Watch, getting ready to have a little discussion with the AU Pack Mule here.
Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it and hope you like it. So, Lauren, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
That's perfect. So the first question I have actually is in regards to the transition from Aerys, King Aerys, the Mad King, to Robert. And what started the whole thing was when Aerys asked Jon Arryn to send the head of Ned Stark and also Robert Baratheon to the King's Landing. But I was curious why you thought that he didn't ask for Renly's head or Benjen's head in regards to this request. Why do you think it was just Ned and just Robert? I mean, they didn't have anything to do with what had happened with Rickard.
This whole request has never made really too much sense to me. I've always wondered, why did he add Robert Baratheon into this whole thing? And that's really what fucked him over. I mean, who knows what would have happened at that point, but asking for Ned would have made sense. Asking for Benjen would have made sense too. But asking for Robert, that I was like, huh? Like, I know he was betrothed to Lyanna, and a lot of people bring that up. Well, he was betrothed to Lyanna. Well, you know what? That's an easy fix. You just find him someone else to betroth to. I mean,
exactly.
That's not like that's not something you'd be like, well, let's see, my options here are, I can either kill him, kill an innocent kid, or I could, find him another wife. I mean, it's an easy decision. It should have been an easy decision, but I guess that's why they call him the Mad King. He's not really making any sense here. So I never understood this. So
he was definitely cuckoo at that time for sure.
Yeah, like this request made no sense to me. Like Ned made sense because you've seen the guy. Everyone, if you haven't seen The Godfather, shame on you. Go watch Godfather. You remember Godfather Part 2? The guy he killed. He was going to kill Vito, and he had to send him out because they were afraid he might take revenge. That makes sense on why you would want to kill Ned. But Robert, like there are so many options to deal with when it comes to dealing with Robert, and obviously he took the worst one.
Yeah, because Aerys was just about to make Stefan hand to the king, before he died, and that would have been, I know he was close to him because they were, in King's Landing and were in court at the same time when they were younger. So it's not like he's not used to the family. They're right there, not too far from the Crown Lands.
I mean, Stefan went and looked for. Stefan was kind of his boy. He went and looked for a wife in Essos for Rhaegar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like Yeah, exactly. They were boys. They were close. It's not like he would be unfamiliar with them. And then you also make a good point. Why not Renly and Stannis? Like, if you're gonna go as far as Robert, might as well take it all the way. Why not every kid?
And there was no real leadership, in Storm's End with Stannis, and I mean they were just, they were by themselves. They didn't have any other leadership, right?
They must have had a castellan or something, or maybe it was Crescent that was kind of watching it over. Because I mean, Stannis Stannis was in charge relatively sooner because he handled the siege and everything. So,
Right.
which is kind of weird that he's handling the siege while Robert was barely being done fostered. Just
Exactly.
barely.
Exactly.
Maybe Robert's on the slow. Ned and Robert are on the slow learners program or something.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but MP Maester Payne sent out a weird. I don't want to say weird. It was a theory based on the fact that he
Cryptic.
thinks Stannis is a bastard, and that he, one of the indications is that he grows up faster than Robert, which was one of the indications that Martin had given us in regards to bastards growing up faster. But yeah, that was kind of funny. Lauren, do you have anything that you'd like to add to what Jerry said in regards to the Mad King asking for Ned and Robert's head?
I think it's because Robert was going to be on the throne next, and Ned was honorable, and Ned would make sure he did.
Well, technically, Rhaegar was next in line at that point.
Exactly.
Robert killed them all.
Robert always hated the Targaryens.
Did you say Robert always hated the Targaryen?
Yeah, ever since Rhaegar and Lyanna.
I know he hated Rhaegar after the whole Tourney of Harrenhal thing. I don't know if he had any negative feelings towards him before that.
Yeah, I never got the impression that he did.
But definitely once Rhaegar did the crowning of love and beauty, he was pissed. He's like, on my betrothed, like he owns her, stupid, dumb shit that he was, got all pissed off of it.
Yeah, no passion there, right? Robert's got his ire up, as they say.
He's always got to say something. He's always got to be mad about something.
So I just threw up a little softball question there for you so we could get started. But now we're going to get into the serious question, if you guys are ready. So for Jerry, I don't know if you know this, but Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat has a WWE reference. And for those of you that don't know, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, or now Entertainment, is he uses that as a reference. And I love that whole era of when Jerry was or the Steamboat was around. So I'm going to ask you, in regards to Westeros, is there any wrestler that you would substitute for one of the characters in this A Song of Ice and Fire series?
I mean, there's multiple wrestlers you'd want to substitute in there. One, you definitely got to get Flair in there because he was what is a limousine riding, plane flying, snake boot wearing, son of a gun. His mouth would be like just perfect in there. I would, and he had that white hair. So, let's put Ric Flair. Let's make him Rick Targaryen. We got to put him somewhere. I don't know where you're gonna do it because you can't put him into Aries kids, or else he's gonna steal the show. Mm-hmm. That's what Ric Flair does. Or you have to make him like maybe an older Targaryen, like maybe like one that was a cousin that was way behind the throne, or else he would climb too high. He'd be 16-time king. Would he be if he was there? And
he would make a great Blood Raven, actually.
He's too. I don't know about that. I mean, he's too.
Flamboyant.
He's too flashy. Yeah, he's too flamboyant to do that. And you got to have Stone Cold in there.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah,
right?
To be the man, you got to beat the man. That's Flair, and you also have to have Stone Cold in there. Like, why would you not have the Texas Rattlesnake in there, just going around, beating everyone down, giving them the stunner?
Would he be a wildling?
I think he would be a Greyjoy. Maybe.
Nice.
He would go around and just fuck up everyone's day, give him a stunner. Give him the finger. Be like, yeah. It'd have to be like heels. It'd have to be heel Stone Cold. Like right when he started feuding with Bret Hart, where he won King of the Ring, cheated to win the Rumble, stuff like that. It'd have to be that. It couldn't be like when he turned to a good guy. It'd have to be that. You also have to get the Undertaker in there, and you'd have to put him north of the wall. He might be the leader of the others, and he'd be like, he had the Ministry of Evil thing going on up there.
I could hear the organ music now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you ever get confused between Triple H and
oh, you gotta get Triple H. Does anyone ever play backstage politics like Triple H? He would fit right in King's Landing.
Married the princess, right?
Yeah. He was like Littlefinger before there was Littlefinger.
Yeah, I love when he first came out and he was actually Hunter instead of
Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
and he would have fit. He would have fit right in.
Yes.
Yeah. And he looks a lot like Sean Bean too, which is funny.
Yeah. He could fit right in there with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley character. He'd obviously be a Tyrell with that then get up.
Yeah, that would be a great parody. I would love that.
I'm not sure. Oh, I did say Stone Cold would be a Greyjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You probably could find a wrestler for each and every house. Like Bret Hart would probably be a Stark. Trying to think.
Actually, I think he'd be a really good Lannister.
I was going to say Shawn Michaels would be one of the Lannisters. And was that I don't know who would be a Tully. It'd probably be someone like I don't know who would make it. Tully, there's no really distinct anything to about them. Like like all the other houses are real distinct.
Sure.
So it's hard to say who would be a Tully or an Aaron because we don't really know. We don't know enough about them.
Yeah, that's
personality-wise.
That's a pretty good mix, though.
Yeah.
Lauren, do you have any favorite WWE characters that you'd like to put in the Game of Thrones?
Well, I haven't watched WWE in a really long time. So.
Well, going back to Steamboat, that's a really long time. So, you know what I was thinking of is the Bushwhackers as the Kettle Blacks.
Yeah, they could be. Maybe they're a little too funny for the Bushwhackers. They were like a comedy gig that used to be like a fearsome. They used to be like the Brotherhood without banners before WWE, and then they became kind of a comedy team.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Maybe they're like Hot Pie and Lami or something.
That's a question I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. So thanks for sharing. So going back to when the Robert's Rebellion happened, Stannis was actually loyal to Robert and stayed and actually took up his banner and fought against Aerys, the king. Do you think that was a mistake, or was it something that he probably shouldn't have done? Maybe, I don't want to say criminal, but you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think even Stannis said it was criminal. He was like, do I be loyal to the family, or do I betray my king? Or do I betray my king and be loyal to the family, or do I betray my family? And he's like, I took the action of sticking with my family. No, I don't think it was a bad deal. I mean, as we saw, Aerys was out of control. Even if he would have killed Robert gives a lot of crap. Maybe he goes after Stannis next for some unknown reason. So, no, I think it worked out well for. Well, no, not well, but it worked out for Stannis for the most part. Robert's kind of fucked it up, but better Robert fucking it up than Aerys fucking it up. Robert fucking it up means you get Dragonstone instead of Storm's End.
Right.
Yeah. Aerys fucking up means you lose your head, or not lose your head. You get burned in wildfire.
Lauren, do you think that was a mistake, backing Robert instead of being loyal to the king?
Or the Mad King?
Yeah.
Well, the Mad King was crazy, so he was.
But you're supposed to be loyal to the king, right?
Well, what happens when the king goes crazy though and wants to burn everybody? What's that?
Yeah, that's what happened. But
You're also
where's
supposed to
your
be loyal to
loyalty supposed to
family.
be, right?
You got the he had the Jamie paradox, where
Well, John
your
Arryn was
two
actually
oaths.
in the same situation.
Yeah,
When he's asked by the Mad King to return the heads of two of his fosterlings. If he does that, then obviously he definitely violates guest rights. And
well, he could have sent him away and be like, okay, your time as guest is done, and then like let someone pick him up at the gate. There would have been ways around that, but he couldn't in good conscience do that.
no, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think John was in a bad situation, and so was Stannis. I just don't know if it was, like I said, I don't want to say criminal, but he would have definitely been executed if Ares had won.
Yeah, and Stannis, we know from what he said that he was really conflicted about which side to choose.
Yeah, I would think he would have to be. Do you think there was any mutual admiration between Stannis and Tywin?
No, I don't think Tywin really gave much thought to Stannis. I mean, by the time he worried about, like, he actually had any thoughts on Stannis was when Stannis was making his attack on him, and judging by how Tywin reacted, Tywin was, he did respect Stannis as a capable leader and coming at them. He's like, holy shit, we got to deal with these guys. Fuck. It's kind of his way. So, I mean, in that way, he did respect Stannis.
Yeah, I found a quote that was interesting in doing some research from MP on this Stannis is a bastard theory. And one of them was that when Stannis was talking about the War of the Five Kings, he says he's the only one that's capable of the others put together. Because he thought that, over Robb and Joffrey and the others, that Stannis was the better commander.
Well, I mean, also Stannis has, actual skins on the wall. Stannis stood out in the Greyjoy Rebellion, whereas, Renly didn't do anything.
Yeah, and he was on the council for the whole time, right?
Yeah, no, none of the. Let's see, who we have we have Renly, we have Stannis, we have Robb, and we have Balon. Well, we all saw Stannis kick Balon. The only one with experience there are Balon and Stannis. And Stannis kicked his ass on his home turf, nonetheless.
Joffrey's got no skin, right?
Yeah. Well, he's kind of the representative of Joffrey. He's handling that business, so. Yeah, it was definitely Stannis. Stannis was the one he was worried about, and he respected his foe that way, because we know he didn't respect Robb, which he really should have, because Robb had Blackfish, and he should have known Blackfish, and that's the reason why Robb won as many battles as Robb won, was because of the Blackfish. I don't understand why Tywin underestimated the Blackfish. He should have known better. He's fought in 2 wars with Blackfish, so he should have known.
He's definitely someone that underestimates certain people, like Robb, where just because of his age is a factor. Is obviously his son, because he's a midget or a dwarf.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're undermining Robb's age, which is fair, you got to see who he's supporting. Like, just because makes
Robb,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Blackfish. He's like, well, he's got Blackfish, so that's trouble. Just like Mace Tyrell, you got to worry about Mace Tyrell because he has Randall Tarley. Even though Mace Tyrell is a buffoon, he's got Randall Tarley.
Yep.
So
yeah, Mace is not out there swinging a sword. It's Mace. It's Randall rather.
Or leading the troops. It's Randall, like making the good war decisions. So you have to respect them for that. Yeah.
Was when I was doing some research on this Order of the Green Hand, talking about Mance being Arthur Dane, and I don't know if you've heard that theory before.
Oh, I've heard all these nonsensical theories from everywhere.
So obviously,
that's nothing new. I think James Johnson also has that theory with Lady Donna.
Well, they thought that it was Rhaegar is Mance,
Yeah, and then
and he was
so
enamored.
they're saying now they're saying that
Arthur Dayne is
Arthur
Mance.
Dayne is Mance.
Yeah, Rhaegar's dead. Arthur Dayne, Qhorin Halfhand, and actually Giant's Bane is Went, or not Went, but Qhorin Halfhand is Went, and Giant's Bane is the other one, the White Bull.
I mean, here's the thing with all these. You got to think about with Mance. We have a history of Mance. Like, during that whole Tower of the Droid thing, we have a history of what Mance was doing. He was in the Night's Watch. He was recorded being there. He's one of the brothers at that point. So it's not like, unless Arthur Dayne comes up and, like, pulls a Faceless Man on him and kills Mance, takes his face, and then he starts assuming, which we're going crazy now. We're going to crazy.
Yeah, 'cause it's only 15 years ago, right?
Yeah,
it's not like ancient history.
We're going into some tinfoil here, if that's the case. So yeah, no. I mean, Mance has his own thing. Qhorin Halfhand, they have their own thing. Unless you're doing like some crazy Faceless Man, Mission Impossible stuff, it's just.
The other thing too is that I was looking at Stannis's history at court and how long ago he was 4 when he first went to court, and he probably would have seen Arthur Dayne at court at that time. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, he was going to see the king, but the king had cut himself on the throne, so Tywin was actually in place of the king.
He thought it was Tywin was the king.
Right. He thought he was just this royal, noble, absolutely wonderful person. And that's why I thought this whole mutual admiration society between Stannis and Tywin existed.
Yeah.
Lauren, you have anything you want to add to Stannis and Tywin having a mutual admiration society?
Well, I will say for Stannis, if it wasn't for him, Jon would have not beat the Wildlings, because Stannis is the only one that came to his aid.
That would have shortened the story quite a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, also, Arya asked Jaqen for the 3 kills, or gives him the names for the 3 kills. And there's a similarity between Arya asking for those and which targets she asked for, and Melisandre and Stannis using the shadow babies to kill his enemies. And whether Stannis knew about it or not, it's just, do you think there's any correlation between the targets that they picked and how effective that could have been? Because we know it was Renly and Courtney Penrose, right?
Yeah, that's who Stannis picked. And there's I don't think there's any correlation other than they both kind of wasted a pick, where Stannis wasted a pick with Courtney Penrose, and Arya wasted a pick with I forget the kitchen wenches lady. What's her name?
Well, in the books, that's what we're going on. It was the main cook, and
she was just because she was mean to her.
Exactly.
This is one of the stupidest things. One of the pretty evil things.
I think the dog ate the cook, right?
Something like that.
Wasn't that how it worked?
Yeah, I mean they just really wasted their trump cards. So that's really the only correlation I could think. The only similarity I could think about that. They should have strategically planned it better. But if they had, then the Lannisters would have never. We'd have a completely different series. Lannisters would have never won. I've always said that the Lannisters needed so many things to go right for them to have won that War of the Five Kings. They almost got wiped out. Like they were on. They didn't know it. No one knew it, but they were. There's just a few little things you could change, and there's a lot of them. There's just a few little changes you can make.
Yeah, like the commander of the ships that Stannis had. If he would have taken out Florent and put in Davos, that would have definitely been one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you need all. You just need one of these change. There's like a bunch, and you just need one of them to change, and the Lannisters lose. Like they were like Aerosmith living on the edge there, and they didn't even know it.
Pulling in the Aerosmith quote. That's awesome. Thanks, Jerry. So tell me about your favorite theory in the Game of Thrones. What do you think is the one that you really like?
I mean, one that are we talking just like, or okay? I mean,
One that
things
you're
that
passionate about.
well, I'm passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about things being right, like Aegon being a Blackfire. Passionate about that. John probably, yeah, Fagon or whatever. Things like that. Things that are obvious before it was R plus L equals J. All the obvious ones. The Hound being the Gravedigger. Those are theories. I'm like, yeah, they're true. It's obvious. So, but I mean, I don't know if I call it like they weren't the most fun. The most fun would be like some of the crazy theories out there that might be true. Like, I think the craziest thing I've heard is it comes from a podcast of Ice and Fire from Amin, and his was the whole chimera thing for Tyrion, that he's somehow he's got both. He had both Tywin and Aerys fertilize the egg for Joanna, and he's both of them. So he's both Targaryen and Lannister.
Yep.
That's a fun
Medical
one.
plausible, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's a crazy one that's plausible. Well, I think it's one that's plausible. I got stuff that are things on my own, like Bran. I don't think he's. I think he's actually warging into the trees, and I don't think he's really going back in time. He's more going through the memories of the tree, and like he's actually become part of the tree. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, like, if those trees really can go back in time or not, because he's obviously doing something, and he's obviously affecting it, and I think he would need to be able to warg as he actually is the tree to make it, the sounds that he does. Another one I like is, Quentin's alive, like that, because I'm a fan of the Quentin character. I think Preston Jacobs has led a lot of it on that, and I'd also go even a little bit further and say things like, there's a decent amount of evidence. I mean, like, one, how many POV characters do we get the fake out on? We get a lot. We get Arya fakes out death. Tyrion fakes out death. Everyone's faking out death from time to time.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Like you read their chapter and you're like, oh, that character's dead. Like after Arya gets hit with gets hit by the Hound, I thought she was dead because I was like, oh, that's it for her. Theon, I thought he was dead. Like that's the last Theon ever thought, something like that. So you can easily have that with Quentin here, and also the very next book that George releases, we find that there's a character in there who gets burned by a dragon and lives. So if you think about it, George R. R. Martin does usually when he does something like that, it's usually meaningful,
or he wants you to at least give it some thought.
Yeah.
Lauren, do you have a favorite theory, like R plus L equals J?
Well, that is a favorite theory of mine, but it's pretty much been proven by now, at least on the show.
Definitely on the show. I'm not sure in the books that it's proven, but
one of my favorite theories is I believe Tyrion's really a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the reason Tywin was like that towards him because he was actually the Mad King's son. Was it said at their wedding that he took liberties with her? And I think when he did, I think actually all three of Tywin's kids are all the Mad Kings, and Tywin couldn't have.
All three of them, huh?
Because you know how Tywin loved his legacy. It was all about his legacy. And wouldn't that be a huge, FU if he knew he didn't have a legacy?
That would be That would
Because
be
they
rotten.
lie this whole time.
Sterile the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, one theory I wanted to throw out there is one that I like is my version of the Dornish master plan, and which was that, I mean, it's ever evolving. First, it was, he literally wanted to take everything away from Tywin, and that included, in my opinion, Casterly Rock. So I think when he sent Oberyn up there, Oberyn was not supposed to get after Tywin. He was supposed to do, what do you call it, take down those that would make it to where Marcella would inherit, what do you call it, Casterly Rock.
Right.
And that way, guess who would be, if Marcella inherits, guess who's running Casterly Rock?
Definitely.
It would be his son. So
Right.
I think he was planning on that, and I think he's also been planning to try and spread Dornish law to where everyone, or all the, what do you call it, the women will start inheriting in there. And I think,
or specifically, or do you think all women?
well, like just same rules apply, except women are all suddenly there. So the bastards are still below, but like the women are like the true-born women are still.
Legitimate. I got you.
Mm-hmm. And I think he'll eventually be able to pull it off, because I think Fagon is going to sit on the throne for a little while before Dany knocks him off, and that he'll marry Arianne and he will pass that. But I think it won't help the Dornish at all. The one that'll end up helping is that it'll jump Sansa over Rickon. Because I do like the Sansa ruling in the end. And that's a way of doing it without having to kill Rickon.
Very true. So I don't know if you heard, but I came up with a total tinfoil theory with Ned Stark. I've been trying to figure out what's going on with this. Yeah, please get the Valyrian steel glasses out. So my theory is Ned Stark and Howland Reed are actually gay. They're a gay couple, and that's one of the reasons why you hear that Howland Reed, cried when he found out Ned, died, and Ned's always going through this anguish of, his promises and his commitment to standing before the old gods and promising about him being loyal to Catelyn and that sort of thing. And then also they, shared a tent at Harrenhal, but that's not a big deal. But altogether, all of those small little things, I thought, what a weird change of events that would be if we brought that in. But
I mean, that is pretty tinfoily, if I do say so.
Yeah. And I don't know. Well, we'll see how it works out. But I've never put too much thought into it, obviously. But there's like 6 or 7 facts that are leaning me towards that way. And that's one of the reasons why we don't see Howland Reed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything kind of can be explained like with other explanations. Like, the tent thing was because Howland had nowhere else to stay, and he was a Stark Bannerman, so.
Yeah, but he's the head of the house of, Greywater Watch. It's not like he doesn't have a.
Oh, he didn't bring anyone with
right?
him. He didn't bring anyone with him.
That's what I'm saying. Why do you go to a tournament when you're the head of a house like Glover or the Manderleys or anyone else like that?
I thought he was trying to find something. I thought he was trying to go like the Isle of Faces, and he happened to pawn the tournament, the tourney. That's what I thought.
That would be, yeah. Who knows? I just thought strange coincidences. I always thought it was.
I mean, there's nothing that says it can't happen,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe maybe Ned did like to lay down some pipe back in the day,
Yeah,
we know he's into Ashara, so maybe he liked,
Well, do we? Was that him just trying to play it up to his brother?
Maybe he just picks the hottest girls. Like, I like her.
Yeah. Kind of like we talked about this in a chat one time when we were talking about Renly being gay the first time I read the books, I mean, I'm like, I was totally taken aback when I saw the show, and Renly was gay because he was pining for that picture of Marjorie when Robert was contemplating having Cersei divorced and or annulled or whatever, and then marrying Marjorie to make an alliance with the Tyrells. I just thought it was really strange.
Yeah, I never caught it too. I didn't find out until I saw it on Westeros.org, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? That Loras guy was pretty fruity.
Right. Now,
And
see,
Renly was
Loras, I didn't
kind
have a
of
problem with. It was just never Renly.
like Loras was the one who was like described as like a little twink,
Mm-hmm.
and Renly was just kind of a jerk. So, but he was kind of described as like big brawly guy. I mean,
Yeah, just well
the show
dressed.
fucked up
That's
that.
all.
Yeah, the show fucked up on that. But yeah, uh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I had to find out later.
Yeah, what do you think, Lauren? Do you think possibly that Ned Stark's gay?
No, I don't think he's gay.
The other thing too is that made me think about that is this new channel called the Order of the Green Hand that Tony Teflon shared with us. And thanks again for doing that, Tony. That was a lot of fun listening to those that channel. They do a good job, but they do come up with some fun stuff. One of them was about how they hate Catelyn and
Who doesn't
why
hate
Catelyn is
Catelyn?
such a bad person. And it was about when they were having sex before Lewin interrupted and brought the
Aching
note from
loins.
Lysa. Say that again.
I said aching loins. When her
Well,
loins were aching, she's like,
well,
"Okay."
she just wanted it to be quickened, I think, so she could have another baby. But yeah, it was super quick. And she's had 5 kids, and I'm like, man, there's no way. So it was just one of the things that popped in my head. I mean, if you're having sex with someone who's had 5 kids, it's not going to be over quick, I guess. But that's my theory. What do I know? I'm an old guy, so. Anyway, Lauren, you don't think it's anything strange at all about Howland Reed and Ned Stark's relationship?
No, I think they were just friends. Just he had to protect Helen because Helen was kind of weak. You know. I don't think they were gay.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, it's kind of a weird. I've never heard anyone ever even hint that, but just my thoughts. I don't know if, like I said, you heard it in one of my other videos, but I shared that I worked with some people that were both, one was a man, one was a woman. They both were married, had children, and then, decided to come out of the closet and let everybody know they were either gay or lesbian, and they continued their life and totally happy now. But it just was an added revelation to what might have happened with them being just the opposite, because it was wartime, etc.
I mean, you'd think though if Ned was gay, he would find a replacement. He would somehow pull some Oberyn Martell stuff, and like you'd find out about a male partner here and there. I don't think you can be gay and then, well, I can't really speak on it, but I assume you can't be gay and experience gay, like all that.
Well, we
gay.
think about that being the Blackfish's situation, right? And we don't hear
We don't know.
any
We don't know.
specifics.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, or the Blackfish might just be suppressed. Like he might be gay and just suppressed and like doesn't indulge in anything. But you think if Ned indulged in the past, he would somehow indulge again in the future.
Maybe he was just loyal to Howland.
Maybe he's like, I don't know how to quit you.
All right. So let's go on to the next question, which is, do you think any of the families that are in this story that are now are going to be still in existence when the end of the story happens? In other words, are all the Lannisters going to go away, the Starks going to go away, etc.?
I think they'll mostly still be all of them will mostly still be around, but like they're all going to be like decimated. You're talking. I think like I said, I think Quentin comes back and he'll be the only Martell left, but he's just going to marry an Ironwood and go off and do his own thing. Tyrion, I think he will be the last Lannister. Sansa and Rickon will be the last Starks. Aaron's, you know what? Maybe you might have Sweet Robin just make it after all because, you know, he's so sickly. He's gonna die. Like they keep saying, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Wouldn't it be something if he actually lives?
Yeah, you know he's gonna live, right? I mean, just the way that he's like on his deathbed from day one. Still,
yeah. I mean, the only house I see getting wiped out is the Baratheons, because you know Robert and Renly are already gone, and Stannis, I'm pretty sure he's going to die at some point. Shireen will probably die as well.
Speaking of theories, no believer in Gendry's a real Baratheon?
No, I've been 100% against that since I heard that. I'm like, it makes no sense. It's never made sense to me. I'm like, no. We have all the...
They had a legitimate child, right?
Well, she says that in the show. She doesn't say it in the book. And we have all the kids.
She says it in the book.
No, she never says that in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where does it say that?
I'll find it for you.
Sure.
And I'll send it to you on Hangouts. But
I believe it's just Dan and I'm pretty sure she doesn't say it in the book. It's just Dan and Dave confusing people, trying to make Cersei more sympathetic because they think they have a crush on Lena Headey, and they're just retarded.
I can't agree with you more on that part. They are definitely fanboys of Lena Headey.
Yeah, and so, and we have all the kids accounted for, like, you know, from the Maggie the Frog prophecy. You know, we have all of Cersei's kids accounted for. We have all of Robert's kids accounted for, and their intersection. And we know there's no intersection. So,
well, Maggie does say, you know, you'll have your kids, and he'll have his kids, but she never says that they will have any kids together or how many.
Well, yeah, but we have an account of all of Cersei's kids that she'll have. So, and we know none of them are Robert, so we know there's no intersection. Unless Maggie was wrong, which is possible. But you know what?
What do you think, Lauren? Do you think Gendry was well, answer the question about the families. Do you think any of the families are going to still be in existence at the end of the story?
I think that Cersei won't be. I'm hoping Jaime and Tyrion will. I'm thinking Arya will probably die because of how she is and all. I think Sweet Robin, I think Littlefinger would take him out because he wants to be in control of the Vale, and he's in the way of that. I think he'd kill him.
Now, when we're talking about the books, obviously it's Harry the Heir that we're more worried about than Sweet Robin, correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure Littlefinger would take care of him too if he had to.
Some coincidental out the moon doors.
Yeah, Littlefinger's manipulative. We all know that.
Sad times with Uncle Pitire. So, do you think Gendry is not the true-born son of Robert and Cersei?
I think he is. Because Maggie the Frog may have only mentioned the kid Cersei would claim as her own. She didn't claim Gendry, so maybe she didn't mention him.
Also about that, it doesn't make sense why. Like, why are you gonna hide this kid that you have of Gendry? Like why? I don't understand the purpose of hiding this kid. Like if anything, that legitimizes your other kids because, yeah, you know, this kid has Baratheon, but you know, my genes went out. Sometimes my genes went out. Sometimes Robert's genes went out. You know, You never know.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the way you said that. It may not have been a hiding. It may have been the fact that Cersei didn't want Robert's child because of how she didn't want Robert after their wedding night.
Well, here's the thing. We know Cersei has no problems having children killed. If she really didn't want it,
That's true.
Gendry would be dead. And if she could hide it from Robert, he'd be dead. Easy.
Good. That's a good point. Unless she didn't think about it after she told Littlefinger or Varys, whoever it was that sent him away. But I'll find the specifics on that. I was looking at the Tower of the Hand real quick, but I couldn't find it. So
she's like, damn, I should have asked him to kill him. I didn't think about it then. But you know what? I already forgot his name, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
Forgot my one true-born son's name.
It's almost the same story that she says in Winterfell to Catelyn, but it's a different time and it's a different place that she says the story about the child being weak and not living, but it was a true-born child with dark hair.
Yeah, in the show. I don't take anything the show says.
No, not in the show. It was a different time and place in the book, but it was the same story. So, Jerry, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your other reading, because we talked a lot about Michael Crichton when we did the Westworld versus Game of Thrones video together. Do you like the long, arduous stories like these, and I don't mean to compare Harry Potter to this, but those stories that last 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6 books, or the Wheel of Time, or do you like stories that are shorter, more concise, and quicker?
Sure, they're good. I mean, it all just depends. Like, there's some series there's one series I really like that's it's like Japanese, called the 12 Kingdoms, but it doesn't. The author kind of gave up on it, but that was going to be a long one. I really loved that one. Wheel of Time should have ended at the third book. After the third book, so.
Did you like the way that ended?
I didn't. I gave up on the Wheel of Time. Like I read a lot of Shannara, Wheel of Time, Sword of Truth stuff back in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and then when I got into A Song of Ice and Fire, I couldn't go back to those because I was like, these guys are just Tolkien rip-offers, and they're not that good. They're not that interesting. They're kind of kiddie. It's a kiddie, but they're like real basic, like fantasy. They're fantasy cliche galore, and I'm like, you know what? I can't do these guys anymore. So I pretty much dropped all of those series at that point.
Gotcha.
I think I was like in book 4, The Wheel of Time, somewhere past the trilogy in Shannara. I think it was one of like Voyage to Cheryl or something like that. I just had started Sword of Truth. I'm like, I'm done with this.
So this is a pretty unusual for you to go 5 books in and still waiting for 2 more, maybe 3.
I mean, I've gone through like series. Like I went through the Dune series all through it, and that was a mistake. It really is Dune, and then there's a bunch of stuff after that. Like Dune's awesome. Trying to think, there's got to be some good series that I actually liked to the end, but I guess as long as it's good, it's really the problem with this. None of these authors can handle these. They'll throw a good book, maybe 3, but then they jump the shark, and so yeah, once they've jumped the shark, I'm not interested anymore. Martin hasn't jumped the shark, so we're good.
No. Although he is in Sharknado, but that's a different subject.
Yeah.
Lauren, do you like long stories, or would you rather have it be one book, maybe 300, 400, 500 pages?
That depends on how well I like the first book. The first
Kind of
book's
like what Jerry was saying. If it's good, then you'll keep listening.
If it's good, I'll keep reading it. But if it's not, then I'll just take it.
Did you like the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I really got to read it, actually. I watched
Okay.
I really got to read the books.
What are some of the
One.
other fantasy? I know you're a big fan of Sons. You got the Sons of Anarchy shirt on.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before. What are some of the other series that you really like?
Right now, I really like Taboo. Taboo's a really good show.
For TV? Yeah. What about any book series that you like?
Game of Thrones, obviously.
True.
You know what?
I watched The Walking Dead. I know that's based off graphic novels. I've never read any of them, though.
You're going to add something, Jerry?
I was going to add something about that. You know, like being a fan of Martin, you kind of got the both too, because other than A Song of Ice and Fire, he's full of short, like all his shorts, like this, the Sand Kings. It's like 3-5 short stories in the Sand Kings being one. Song for Leah. It's got a Song for Leah and then a bunch of short stories. Tough Origin, it's like nothing but short stories. So he's got a lot of shorts out there too.
Wild Cards is another one of his.
Well, he doesn't write wild. He edits Wild Cards, and that's the worst of his. That's the one. That's the last thing of Martin anyone should read is Wild Cards.
It's not my favorite of his, but it is a series. So
Yeah,
and I don't
he just
know.
edits it. So
Yeah. You could say that about the Legends and Warriors too, though, right?
well, those he just gives one story on those. That's all he
Someone
does.
else writes them.
Well, it's a collection. It's a bunch of authors submitting their own short stories, and they make a book out of it. So, he's got his story. Then it's got usually maybe Gardner Dozier, maybe the guy who wrote The Expanse. They're different people writing. Might have Neil Gaiman or something in there. I got a few of them actually for his. Hold on.
So, what are some of the other TV series that you like besides the Taboo and Walking Dead?
Sherlock, BBC, that's a really good show.
Sherlock,
Yes.
the BBC version.
Yeah. Yeah. I like The Borgias back when it came on.
Oh yeah, from Showtime, I think it was on. Or is that HBO also? The Borgias.
I thought it was Showtime, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was Showtime too. Now that I'm thinking of it, yeah. Jeremy Irons
Yeah.
was the Pope. It was based on like 1100 or something like that. Yeah, that was a very good series.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
put it so cute. Boardwalk Empire, that was a really good one.
Good. Yeah, a lot of people like that, and that's also based on a true story.
Yeah. The Prohibition.
Right. Or the fake prohibition.
Yeah.
What'd you find, Jerry?
Oh, I was just saying, here's one, like Songs of a Dying Earth. This is what, I don't know if you knew George R. R. Martin was a big Jack Vance fan, so they had a bunch of authors come together to write a bunch of stories. Like this one has stories from Neil Gaiman, Robert Silverberg, K.H. Baker, George R. R. Martin, Gardner Dozois, Dean Koontz. So in there, and then also Dangerous Women. I think this is the one that has Princess and the Queen. So you got like Joe Abercrombie, Brandon Sanderson, Jim Butcher. So that's how those books are. And Legends and Warriors are the same thing as well. In fact, he has 2 books, Dream Songs. There's 2 of them. They're just. In fact, I got those 2 as well. Hold on.
You're talking about Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These 2 books here are just collections of all his short stories.
You got a few books there, don't you?
Yeah, I get a lot of books.
You're a much bigger reader than I am. I don't unfortunately spend the amount of time dedicated to reading. Even though I've probably spent 300 hours reading just this series.
Yeah, I'll probably spend about that over time. So
Yeah, because of the prequels and the World of Ice and Fire, that sort of thing.
hmm
Is your favorite way to read it like through the Tower of the Hand or audiobooks, or do you actually like, obviously you've got it in your hand, the hardcover books?
I used to be like hardcore hardcover, only hardcover, but then like maybe about 3 years ago, I bought a Kindle paperweight, and I'm like, okay, I can do this because I don't like the LED, like looking at it on an LED screen. That it just doesn't feel right when you read on there. It bothers my eyes. But at least Kindle Paperwhites, they make it look like you're reading actual paper, And I just like to, like you're reading an actual paper in the book.
Minimal glare.
So, yeah, so I can do that. I can deal with that. So I've been generally reading with Kindle most of the time. Saves, or else I might have to buy another bookcase and more books and it was always hard to lug these books around, like in your backpack or something, like, especially if you're reading Martin and their books are huge. Yeah.
For sure. So I challenged you guys earlier to come up with a question to ask me. Do either of you have a question you want to ask?
Is there any other series that you're into the way you're into the Song of Ice and Fire?
Tolkien's whole collection of Middle Earth, I guess, is the best way to put it, because the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and obviously the three of the trilogy would be the only ones that I would say not only did I read, but I studied, and that's what I consider fiction. The Bible is the only other book that I've ever put as much time into as I have with either of the series. And that's just because the Bible covers so much time, and it also has many different languages. So
I enjoyed Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I like enjoyed them a lot, but I tried reading the Silmarillion.
yeah,
That was a tough read. I couldn't finish that. I was like, I kind of abandoned that. I'm like, no. And even like Lord of the Rings, to be honest, was kind of a tough read for me because Tolkien could take like a page and a half just describing a bark of a tree.
right.
Like, come on, man, let's get to the story. Yeah, or something, or a hill. Like, come on, let's get going, buddy.
For sure. Yeah,
So,
if you get a chance, read The Children of Hurin instead of the Silmarillion. And what's coming out now in a book is Beren and Luthien, which is the other segment of the Silmarillion. And I think you'll find it a lot easier. If you think Martin is dark as far as this series, read The Children of Hurin if you like that dark story, because it has everything in it.
I was gonna say, not so much The Hobbit, but I always thought the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, the films, were the perfect adaptations. Those are like when I want to say this is how you do an adaptation. Generally when I'm criticizing Dan and Dave for how they adapt, I'm like, you want to know how to really adapt? Here is how you really adapt. I even like them better than the books. I don't know if you're in.
Yeah, there's no comparison for me. I have to have the book.
Okay. I wanted to ask, what did you think? Like, the comparison, and then the follow-up question after that. What is first book versus film, and then also, what did you think of the film? What Peter Jackson did.
I didn't like the film too much. Mainly in the first one because of leaving out Tom Bombadil. He's probably the most epic character as far as power is concerned. And to leave that out of it was I think critical. As far as the Fellowship and the Two Towers. That was the only mistake I think he really made. But as far as The Hobbit goes, it was awful. I really did not enjoy that at all. To make 3 movies of it and then still get it wrong with Radagast the Brown, I thought was needy, totally unnecessary. Really, I mean, they put stuff in there that, like Toriel, wasn't necessary. They just
like Legolas doing like some Spider-Man moves.
Exactly. When I found out that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct The Hobbit and the trilogy, I was ecstatic. If you've ever watched Hellboy, especially The Golden Army, he was perfect. Pan's Labyrinth, a perfect movie. Couldn't ask for anything more in a fantasy movie. And he would have done an amazing job. But because Jackson wanted to stretch it out for another 10 years, he couldn't do that. He had other projects he had already committed to. So,
I am going to have to disagree with you on the Tom Bombadil thing. I was so glad when they took that guy out. I could not stand him in the books with his low, Mario. Like, shut up, dude. You are more fruity than Loris and Renly combined.
Do you think that was him, or I mean that when you were reading it, or was this the audio version? Because
I read it. I've never listened to the audio version of that, so gotcha. I read that, and I just imagined some guy who was just super. I just wanted to punch him in the face. Like if Tom Bombadil could come out of the book, I would punch him in the face.
Gotcha.
Although I do want to say, look at this nice little Hobbit book I have. This is a pretty cool version of the Hobbit that I found one time. I'm like,
sorry,
could
you show that again? I didn't see.
Gotta have this book.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, very nice. Is that the 25th anniversary or?
No, I don't. No, I think it was way after that. It's probably like the 50th anniversary or something.
Gotcha.
It's got some nice illustrations.
It looks like a collector's edition. It doesn't look like a standard.
Yeah, it comes with its own little slipcase.
Yeah. It might be even the 50th anniversary edition.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how
cool.
How I know, because I have a few addiction issues when it comes to Tolkien. Yeah, as far as the movie goes, The Hobbit was not. I really wish that I didn't see it. I actually saw the first version of first movie 9 different times because they had different frame rates. So I watched it in every 3D, every IMAX, every frame rate there was. So and I saw it with different friends, different versions, and it was a lot of fun. But it was just hard to continue watching them and not being critical. I like Dan and Dave's version much better.
Like, I prefer the Rankin and Bask version of The Hobbit better than the Jackson version.
Say that again?
I prefer the 1977 Rankin and Bask
yes
version better than the one that came out with Jackson. Like it just had too much nonsense in it, I don't know, Bard and his family, Legolas doing crazy moves, this whole love thing between an elf and a dwarf. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I asked. They actually did a podcast or a live stream on audio with Guillermo del Toro and Peter Jackson, and I asked them, you've put these love interests in the trilogy. What are you going to do? Make the 13 dwarves, 2 of them gay, to make some sort of a love relationship? It was
again with the gay.
What's that?
I said again with the gay relationship.
Yeah, I don't know what else they were going to do because there was no females in The Hobbit, but they put one in. So,
well, I guess I want to ask now, what did you think about? Well, since I brought up the Rankin and Bass, what did you think about the Rankin and Bass Hobbit? And then what did you also think about the what was that guy's name? He did Heavy Metal, the one who did the first two Lord of the
Yeah, I
Rings.
know which one you're talking about. He did Wizards.
Yeah, Wizards.
Yeah.
And he did the Lord of the Rings movie, which covered the first two books, and then they did Return of the King, which I think might have been a separate studio.
Yeah, it was definitely.
So what did you think of all the animated versions?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's remarkable about the Basque version is the way that it was created was so unique. The story didn't necessarily have to be told perfectly to make you appreciate what they were doing, if you know what I mean.
You're talking about the Rankin and Bass Hobbit version?
Yeah. Because that's where they layered the animation screens.
No, you're thinking of Lord of the Rings that did that. That where they had actually people on it and put animation on them.
Oh, you're right. Because the Rankin one is
Rankin and Bass was more just a
cartoon,
traditional,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of liked that part of it because of it being such a simple story. It was really designed to be a kid's story. It wasn't supposed to be, an adult version of an adventure. It was supposed to be more geared for children. So that's one of the things that appealed to me about the Bass version. Whereas
I agree 100% because if you just read them, you can tell there's a totally different tone from The Hobbit to Fellowship. Like The Hobbit is very kiddie, very kid. Like it's still good, it's still great, It's it's wonderful, but it is kiddie compared to Fellowship.
Absolutely. It was all about the food and lighting fires and going for the long walks. And it wasn't about the stone mountain men crashing rocks into each other's heads.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You had a good guy, you had a bad guy. And that was it.
Yeah, and it was pretty simple. There was goblins and that was it. So but yeah, then Lord of the Rings, they offer a whole new just I don't know how to say it, just more critical thought, more thought goes into it, more different kinds of things, stuff like that.
Yeah, he really did a great job of taking his Silmarillion concept of here's the creator of the universe, and then here's the next wizard level gods. Really, the 14 were really gods, and then transitioning that into this children's story. And it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Ralph Bakshi, that was his name. So
right.
Did the original Lord of the Rings, and then I think Return of the King might have just been traditional cartoon.
But I don't remember that being the Bakshi layered animation version.
Yeah, it was just that Lord of the Rings movie. What do you say? Were you a big fan at the time those movies came out?
No, as a matter of fact, my best friend at church introduced me. He's been a Tolkien fan since the 60s. And
so he was excited for these movies.
Oh, he was huge. So we had to go see it with him. And yeah, that's how it was. He's got every single weapon, the theater version on his wall at home, and it covers his living room, dining room, every part of the house. It's like, I guess you're a Tolkien fan. It's so obvious. But yeah.
What do you think of some people saying, and I'm in this camp as well, that Martin is the new Tolkien, and then that's just not in the same way of saying that he is doing what Tolkien's doing, but he's kind of reinventing the genre the way Tolkien reinvented the genre, years ago. Tolkien really created the genre years ago. Martin, I think, is doing innovations that guys like Sanderson, Jordan, Goodkind, none of them, with the Shannara Wheel of Time series, they were more copiers of Tolkien, whereas Martin is taking it to a different, he's taking it to different areas that weren't.
Yeah, I think you're right. Tolkien really took the fantasy world of Middle Earth and exploded it to where everybody found it acceptable. Whereas before Tolkien, it was never acceptable to be into that genre as a writer. Nobody took you seriously. And what Martin did was he took history and mixed it with sci-fi and in a totally different way as well. So I have to agree, he is the new Tolkien of, the 21st century.
And I think people will, I think future authors are going to really copy A Song of Ice and Fire the way authors copy Tolkien, Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I think the way that Martin took out Ned Stark is going to be the norm of the new books. In other words, make you fall in love with a character before they kill him, as opposed to just the bad guy dies or the good guy dies kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really that new. I mean, you can go back to like Psycho, the movie where you kill off the main character in the early stage, like at an unexpected part of the movie. But really making you fall in love with the character, then killing him off, that's kind of you don't see that very often.
Yeah, I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. You've been here for a while, so thanks for hanging in there. Kyle from Kyle's Fucking Chickens, Plexi, Eli Gilmet's here, Christina the Sphinx, Jake Cruz. Just really appreciate you guys being here. Felicia Ahmet is here. John Taylor.
Did she leave, or do we have to say bye, Felicia?
I think you're thinking of Lauren, who was with us earlier, and I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, Lauren left, but you said Felicia Ahmet's in there, and I'm like, oh, well, if she's still there, well, whenever you decide to leave, Felicia, bye, Felicia. Oh, we got Lauren back.
Brokeback Lynn, 94 is here. If you guys haven't checked out his stuff, he's doing some great stuff as well. Love his reaction videos. Can't wait for the Walking Dead version. Just to let you guys know, I've actually gone through the first 6 seasons of The Walking Dead now, and so I'm kind of up to date, but I'll get to season 7 as soon as I can.
The funny thing about Walking Dead and Game of Thrones is that I started them at about the same time. Like, I originally bought Game of Thrones like in 2002, but I left it on the shelf for like a couple of years before I actually read it.
Yeah.
And so I finally read it, and then at the same time I started reading the Walking Dead comics as well. And it's kind of funny that I started reading them at the same time, and then they become shows at the same time as well.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool, the transition. Lauren, did you read any of the Lord of the Rings books or Hobbit when you were?
No, I haven't had the chance to read any.
Gotcha. Did you like the movies at all?
I liked all the movies, both trilogies.
Nice. Very cool. Well, thanks for coming back. I thought we had lost you there.
My tablet went out. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, you got to keep that thing charged.
I don't know what happened. It was still charged. I don't know. But I'm back.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. So did you have a question for me that you might want me to answer?
Do you think that the werewood paste Brienne was given by Bloodraven was similar to the paste given to Dany in the House of the Undying?
That's a good question. I don't. And I have no real reason to think that, other than we haven't seen, the blood consumption that is required for the werewood trees from the House of the Undying. I don't think they were in a sacrificial part other than the drinking the shade of the evening. So I'll have to say no. But
I would say they have similarities in that they're both kind of like LSD. They take you on trips.
They also started out bitter but got sweet as you ate it.
That's true. I think that was a Preston Jacobs thing he said in his recent video. Could be. You never know. So we think that this paste that they're giving Bran, that's part of Jojen, could be Shade of the Evening could Shade of the Evening be like some Soylent Green thing? It's people. It's people.
Great quote from that movie. Do you think, though, that it was really Jojen? It didn't have to be Jojen, right?
It doesn't have to be, but there's a lot of thinking about it being Jojen. And, generally I don't give the show much credit, but the fact that they killed him off kind of makes me think that it might be Jojen.
Plus, they had so many skulls and skeletons there from other humans.
It's people! Wow!
Well, since that was Jojen, what if what they gave Danny had Warlock in it?
Yeah.
So, would you compare the Warlocks to the Green Seers? Is that the similarities that I'm hearing?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
So, you were saying about Jojen being at the weirwood tree and north of the wall, and Danny taking at the Tower of Undying. So is there a similarity between a Warlock and a Green Seer?
No, I just mean they gave Bran that to try to strengthen his powers. What if the Warlocks gave her that trying to strengthen something she had so they could use it?
Did you get the impression that they were trying to strengthen her at all? Because I got the impression they were trying to just keep her subdued.
Well, I don't think. Well, they may have been wanting to strengthen her so they could use whatever she had. Like, keep her prison there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant by subdued. Did you get the impression, Jerry, that they were trying to enhance her powers, or just she had the visions because of her ability?
No, I think they're definitely trying to enhance her visions as far as subduing. I think they were doing both, subduing her physically and enhancing her mentally.
Is that so that her dragons would have more power?
Well, I don't think they factored in the dragon formula very well. I think they miscalculated there, and it backfired on them. So,
literally.
Yeah, I think they thought it would be okay. And Euron does the same thing with the Damphir. He subdues them, has them chained, and then enhances his senses with the Shade of Evening.
Yep. Good question. Do you have another one?
Yes, I do.
I had a feeling you were looking at the paper. And I was like, uh-oh. I might be able to do one, but two, that's just...
Do you think Brienne will make it to season 8?
Brienne the criminal, right, Jerry?
Yeah, she is a criminal, and you know what?
You know why I think she will last until the end is because all of the ones that we've been seeing going to the wall are great warriors. And despite whether they're bad people or good people or shades of gray, I think they're all needed and I think they're all needed with Valyrian weapons.
I think she's definitely going to play a big role upcoming, and I could see her surviving. I could also see her going down with Jaime, or dying together with Jaime, or something, sacrificing herself for someone. Really, any of those options, I think, are likely with the Brienne character. In the show, they probably keep her to the end because they want to make her look more awesome than she really is, even though they just make her creating more crimes in the show, whereas in the book, she really only has one crime.
No, I think that's one of the reasons why, obviously characters like Bronn, they like Bronn and
I think everyone's Stone Cold Steve Austin is the problem.
Who am I thinking of? The gentleman that died that plays the guy that has his tongue taken out.
Oh, Alien Payne?
Yes. Because he died. Bronn was a great fill-in for Jaime to train and that sort of thing.
That guy actually lived. I thought he he was going through some cancerous time and thought he was going to die, but then I think he ended up beating it. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I was told otherwise, but that's interesting.
We'll have to look that up.
Even if he did live, he was so probably diminished.
Yeah.
That he couldn't go through it.
Did he pass away?
We'll have to find out. That'll be your assignment for the next video.
All right. No.
So Plexi asked, where and what tradition do you guys think wildfire comes from? Most of the magic and rituals can be traced to a magical tradition or population. Do you think wildfire is like that?
Well, yeah, I think I've actually heard people say it is Greek fire. And that was, let's just go to the Wikipedia, because that is the most accurate website on the internet. Greek fire was an incendiary weapon developed in 672 and used by Eastern Romania, the Byzantine, how do you say that?
Right. Perfect.
Empire, used in naval battles, could continue burning while floating in water. Sounds a lot like wildfire to me, so they might be on something.
Exactly right. Jerry comes through again.
Yeah, with the Wikipedia to the rescue.
I hope that answers your question, Plexi. That was a good one. Because that's definitely, from history, and George does that. So can you tell us, is Brienne really a criminal?
She's really, in the show, she is a total criminal. Like, okay, y'all want to know why she's a criminal?
Yeah, because I'm not sure.
Okay, one, this is bookend show. She joined Renly, who is a traitorous criminal. He had no claim to Stannis. He just thought he could do whatever the hell he wanted because he's more popular. He was like the popular bully. He's like, I'm just gonna take what's his, and it's gonna be mine, and I don't care. You know what? I got the bigger army. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna follow this guy because he smiled at me. Like, what is? She had no good
the other
reason.
thing too is you got to remember Tarth is part of, loyal to the Storm's End, right?
Yeah, I mean, who is the number one guy in Storm's End? Who is the oldest Baratheon? It's Stannis.
No, he's at Dragonstone.
Well, he's at Dragonstone, but he technically inherits Storm's End, even though Renly was, covering for it there. And so Stannis is the one that they should be following. So they're already betraying them. But you know what? A lot of people did that. A lot of people jumped on Renly. So
no different than Stannis. We talked about that earlier. Stannis followed Robert rather than the crown. It's just it's a personal choice you make. Yeah,
you book Brienne can easily be fixed. All she has to do is bend the knee, get a pardon. Just like how everyone else did. Yeah, they did a criminal activity, but you can bend the knee and get a pardon that way. Show Brienne, oh boy. So after Renly is dead, which she never really had any business following Renly to begin with. No one had any business following Renly to begin with. But, whatever.
Well, maybe she was in love with him.
Well, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the laws?
Thought he was gay is because, why would she even think that there was a possibility?
I mean, but that still has nothing to do with, the laws. Like, just because you're in love with someone doesn't mean like they jump their brother in the line of succession. No, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but love doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just that's the way you feel.
Well, love is how you make bad. Love is how you make bad decisions and end up as a criminal. That's what love is. And so in the show, not only that, after Renly is done, she should have easily gone, there's no doubt who's in charge of her. Like you can say, okay, Storm's End, Renly was in charge of Storm's End, so yeah, she follows Storm's End, follows Renly. Okay, there's that. But once Renly's dead, it's Stannis in charge of Storm's End. Stannis is her lord, her true
But that's when she
king.
converted to become a Stark follower.
Okay, but he's still her true king. He's still her true king, and he's still. I mean, you can't
Stannis
say.
is her true king?
Yeah, Stannis is her true king because he's everyone's true king. He's the true king.
But
of
Stannis
Westeros.
is the one that killed Renly. Why would she be loyal to him?
Because he is the true king. That's why you don't ask these kind of you don't be like, oh, what did he do? No, it's about what's the law say? The law says he's the true king. The law says he's our lord. You can't really say you're not a bannerman of
But if Donald Trump came in
place.
and killed your wife, you wouldn't be still loyal to Donald Trump.
But I also couldn't kill Donald Trump. And why is Donald Trump killing my wife anyways? Like,
well, that's what
wife,
I'm saying. That's we're trying to compare apples and apples.
Okay, so here's the thing. My wife would have to my wife would have to have tried to overtake the presidency. She's like, you know what? I don't like Donald Trump as a president. I'm going to commit some crimes and be a traitor against the American government. And she gets, killed for causing uproar. And, she's trying to do the Civil War or whatever she's trying to do.
Sure.
So, she's killed for her crimes, at least. So Donald Trump kills her for her crimes. Well, and that doesn't give me the right.
Maybe she marched in the Women's March and said something that he didn't like.
Okay, well, I mean, that's different, though. Stannis isn't doing any of that. Stannis isn't, like, killing anyone for no good reason. He killed Renly because Renly committed treason.
Well, he didn't actually kill him, but we know what you're saying.
Okay. Renly was killed because he treason. Like, the punishment
that's much more of a valid point.
Yeah. The punishment for Renly's actions
the
are death.
I don't follow.
Well, the Brienne thing,
because you could say that about the
she hasn't been
Tyrells.
pardoned. Well, yeah, but she hasn't been pardoned. The Tyrells are criminals too, but they could easily be pardoned. Brienne hasn't been pardoned. The worst thing is that she comes out and she's like, "I'm going to kill you for the murder of Renly." Well, you know what? Stannis didn't murder Renly because Renly was a traitor. It's called carrying out justice. That's like saying Ned murdered Gareth or Will in the show. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't murder them. He gave them their crime. It's called executing for their crimes.
Yeah.
So what she's doing to Stannis is straight up murder. Like, one, he's her king, and he's her rightful lord, because she is part of the Tarth, and Tarth is Tarth is a bannerman of Storm's End, so he's in charge of both. There you go. There's her criminal act, and then she's bragging about it too to make it worse.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, I killed him. I don't care.
So is she more of a criminal because of her following Renly or killing Stannis?
Well, both, really. But at least with the Renly thing, that can be forgiven if she bends the knee. But she's just, instead of bending the knee, she does the exact opposite and takes her crime to a whole new level. It's like a whole new world in criminal crimes.
I would love to debate this on just the Brienne part of it, because I think it's a simple. We've seen so many examples from the world of Ice and Fire, and
don't get me wrong. There's a lot of criminals in this book.
Yes, and Ned is one of them. I mean, he's one of the biggest ones, right?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he usurped the throne, but he also was taking down at least that's more forgiving. He was taking down a tyrant. What did Stannis do to deserve all this disloyalty? What did he do?
Well, first of all, he should have very simply bend the knee to Joffrey, and then that would have been a resolution.
But Joffrey was a bastard, and he knew it.
Well, if he did know it, he didn't tell his brother, the king, or make it public until after it benefited him to the realm.
Well, he didn't tell Robert because Robert wouldn't have believed him. He told Jon Arryn, and Jon. Well,
him and Arryn could have presented it to Robert together
Well, that was the plan, and then Aaron got.
Well, it didn't happen when Stannis was there.
Well, no, Stannis was there, and then he left as soon as it happened. He's like, "Oh shit, they killed him. I'm out of here."
So that was his downfall. That was the time when he should have manned up.
I mean, he probably should have took a risk and told Ned, even though it was a risk. He didn't know Ned well enough. We know. Well, I don't know. Ned was kind of stupid, so Ned might have had to find out things on his own. Like even if Stannis told him, he might have been like, "Oh, Stannis."
But you know what I'm saying, Jerry? He doesn't say anything to anybody else. Him and John are the only ones that are working out this plan, and then all of a sudden it works out for his benefit, and that's why he screams from the
Well,
hills.
he wanted to say it. He just couldn't find a good time to say it. He was either going to be, if he would have said something, he could have found himself dead if Robert would have sided with the Lannisters. Like,
Lauren, do you think he could have said anything to anyone that would have made a difference? Stannis being, about him being the one true king?
About Joffrey being a bastard?
Yeah, anything like that.
Well, I think Robert would have listened to Ned. Probably.
Well,
Robert
that was
definitely would have
after
listened
John
to
Aaron died. Right?
Yeah, Robert would have definitely listened to Ned, but Stannis didn't know Ned well enough to know if Ned would believe him, for one.
I don't think he would have listened to Stannis, no.
Yeah, the only way it would have benefited Stannis is for him to say it when he found out. And I think that was one of the things that was so obvious about him having so many bastards, including who was the one that was at Dragonstone?
Edric Storm.
Edric, right. So, I mean, you have so many obvious clues. They could have lined up the bastards one-on-one at the small council or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think. They were planning something of the sort, but John Aaron died. They fucked up his plans. John Aaron dying fucked up his plans. Like he was planning a lot of what you were saying, but he thought he didn't know the clock was ticking. So maybe Stannis should have been able to play the game a little bit better and foreseen someone was going to retaliate like that.
Yeah, I think that would have been his perfect play, is to go back to King's Landing, bend the knee, and find a way to get rid of Tommen, all of them.
Yeah. I mean, Stannis is smart, but Stannis isn't he's not Littlefinger smart.
Conniving?
Yeah. I mean, Stannis knows how to do some misdirect tactics. He apparently used a lot of deception in the Greyjoy Rebellion to beat the Greyjoys. So he does know how to use it to an extent, but he's not the master that Littlefinger is at it.
Christina said, Aegon usurped the throne, therefore making it okay to usurp if you can hold it. So
the winner.
Renly as a usurper.
Well, yeah, Aegon was a criminal too, but he, to the victor goes the spoils. So,
well, was he a usurper because there was no one unified?
He killed a bunch of innocent lives. He's like, you're going to bend the knee to me.
Right.
He had no right to
flew in
do
on
that.
a dragon and said, "I want to take this place. Are you going to bend the knee or not?"
I know, that doesn't make it right. Like, imagine if someone flew in a dragon to your house. It's like, you know what? I'm going to take 20% of your earnings.
You can have it all, because otherwise it's going to burn to the ground.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it right. You're going to be like, this son of a bitch. I mean, I got to do it, but this guy's a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's SOB. So, yeah. But I mean, when you win, you make the rules, That's kind of also what we find here. You make the laws when you win.
Yeah, I'm not sure whose idea that was about the Brienne as a criminal argument, but that was fun. I could argue with that one all day. I think you're dealing with someone who has no authority, no real ability to overtake anything. I'm not sure that I would agree that she's a criminal just because she's in love with someone that was nice to her. That's a common thing. So, do you have any other questions, or Lauren, do you have any other questions you want me to cover?
Yes.
All right, what you got?
Brienne does die. What kind of death do you think she deserves?
Well, she deserves a warrior's death, so anything to do with saving someone is fine with me as long as it's in battle. Yeah.
In the books, she deserves to die like protecting Stannis. In the show, she deserves to die by getting eaten by a dragon.
Do you think she's related to Sir Duncan the Tall?
Oh, bye, Felicia.
Is Felicia leaving? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
She's so funny. She deserves to go out like a beast. Beast mode.
Out of a beast's ass after being eaten.
How do you really feel, Jerry? That's what I want to know. No, do you think she was related to Sir Duncan the Tall?
Oh, I definitely think that.
Lauren?
I think she could be, because she's got to get her tallness, from somewhere.
So Sir Duncan might have been around, with Hodor's family and
Hodor.
and Tarth.
I wonder if Hodor was actually a Frey, and did Walder Frey just get rid of him because he don't want somebody simple-minded around?
No, Holdar is actually related to Old Nan, so I don't think he's a Frey. Unless a Frey came down there to Winterfell and just hung out.
Is there an Old Nan Sir Duncan the Tall conspiracy or theory?
There is. There's even a theory that Old Nan is Tansy Too Tall.
Tansy Too Tall. I haven't heard that one.
Is her name?
I heard she was the
Tansy Too Tall, or whatever the girl, the puppet girl from Hedge Knight.
Oh, gotcha. From Dorne. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Because we never really get a description of Old Nan other than she's old and short at this point.
Well, her eyes have cataracts, so
yeah.
One of the Sierra Sea Star conspiracy theories was, because her eyes are different
But
colors.
anyone can get cataracts. I mean, that doesn't really tell you anything. So. Like when you're old, you can get cataracts. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the theory is that she's so old that she's gone from tall to short.
Yeah, definitely. We've all seen that, right?
Yeah.
You got another one for me?
Tanzel.
Do you think Jaime...
Not Ed Too Tall Jones, Bioflux.
Go ahead, Lauren. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you think Jaime or Brienne die by the news? Or does Lady Stoneheart kill both of them?
Well, George has actually said no. That Brienne screamed sword and that Brienne was cut down, and then we see Brienne later, so we know she wasn't cut by the news. Jaime might get the news later. That could happen.
Do you think she'll still kill them though, or will something happen doing it?
She might. I think she'll. I think she might. There's a good chance she might sacrifice herself for Jaime as well. So.
Yeah, I think that's a fun part of the books where she's like actually making a connection with Jaime, because I've never been a Jaime fan, so.
I love Jaime was my favorite character.
That doesn't surprise me.
I love Jaime.
That doesn't surprise me either. No, that actually does surprise me. Yeah, only because I'm a huge Stark fan, and when he throws Bran out the window, it's just.
I didn't like him then. Then when he lost his hand and all that stuff happened to him, and then Cersei was such a bitch to him.
I became a Jaime fan in Clash of Kings when Catelyn goes up to him and starts having those conversations. He's like, "There's no one else. Like there is no one like me. There's only me." And he started, started saying the Jamie paradox, about
Sure.
oaths that are always conflicting. He was just so defiant in such a. He was in a bad situation, yet he still remained defiant and true to his beliefs, which are like, everything's fucked. So that's when Jamie won me over, and then I started liking him even more once he got into his head and started how he thinks. That was
Mr. Jaime. Yes.
Yeah, and I thought his name was Jaime. I pronounced it Jaime in my head for a long time because that's how it's spelled.
Yep.
It's not spelled Jamie; it's spelled Jaime.
Good point. No, I like I said, he's definitely one of those characters where it makes it easier for you to root against the Lannisters. So. Christina says he won me over when he put babies on trebuchets. So when you're flinging babies, yeah, it makes you.
Well, he never flinged it. He made an empty threat and it worked. He bluffed. Yeah. It was like Kenny Rogers, the Texas Hold'em.
I hope he was bluffing. That's all I got to say.
Johnny Chan will bluff.
You got any more, Lauren? Because those are all good ones.
Do you think that Jamie is the Valonqar?
Good chance.
Oh, I think he is.
I think he's the leading candidate, actually.
Yeah.
I think because Cersei came into this world with Jamie's hand around her foot, she'll go out with his hand around her throat.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, nobody says anything about his hand being, golden makes it any different than if it was real.
Mm-hmm. True that.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely the Valonqar. Got any more?
No, I'm all out.
All right, cool. Well, hey, I really want to thank you very much for being here. It's been a lot of fun. All the people in the chat, all the people that will watch this later. This is one of my favorite things I've done so far on YouTube, especially with the Game of Thrones. Just really enjoy getting to meet each and every one of you and talk with you. Lauren, would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, y'all. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it was great input. Thanks for being here. Jerry, would you like to say goodbye and tell us what's going on with Hype's Watch?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Pat Mule, and thanks for watching, people. If you haven't checked out our channel, it's the Hype's Watch. Several of us. We do a lot of epic rereads and other various videos. We should be back up live streaming later this month, and look out for maybe in the middle of the month we'll have an epic reread with a special guest, and then the following month in March we'll be looking to do an epic reread, The Red Wedding, and there might be a few more surprises in between.
I hope
also
so.
Also check out James Bichel's channel. We've been doing top 10 videos of the top 10 movies of each decade, and we've been doing that list, so those have been pretty good.
That's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed those. Because you have such a big panel and a lot of creative input on what is liked for versus just the Academy Award stuff. So good list. And Hype's Watch has been doing work for a long time, and I'm a big fan of theirs, and really glad that you're on that panel because it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun watching you and very creative. So thanks for being there. Everybody in the chat, thanks again for being here. I just wanted to say hello again, and thanks for coming by and leaving all the great comments. Hope you enjoyed it. Before I go, I do want to say, make sure you eat the dessert first, grin like a dog, and wander aimlessly. You guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, by the way, we're going to have Alicia Kingston on. So thanks for being here.